Look out. Here come former SportsCenter anchor Bob Stevens, esteemed basketball coach Rich Basirico, and Hall of Fame sports writer Curry Kirkpatrick. And someone's going under the bus.
Hey, Justin Jarrett sitting in for Bob Stevens this week on Under the Bus. Bob in an undisclosed location. We think he might be the designated survivor. We're not really sure what's going on, but Bob off gallivanting today. So I'm happy to sit in this chair tonight with a couple of legends. Rich Basirico in the red, white, and blue today for Memorial Day recognition, and Curry wearing his uniform, Curry Kirkpatrick, who throws people under the bus. Welcome to Under the Bus. How you guys doing on this lovely Low Country holiday? Obviously a somber holiday, but always a good time in the Low Country.
We started off great because I had a cookout at my son-in-law's house, and he always makes good food. So I'm ready for this podcast tonight because I have a full belly.
All right. I haven't even eaten yet, so good.
Oh, well, my wife made bratwurst tonight, and we had the baked beans and the potato salad. Made it a whole
nice
American feast with a little dash of German, I suppose, with the bratwurst. But it was lovely. But well, did you get out on the beach today, Curry?
Oh yeah. So we're doing this. The night after the Spurs seem to have righted the ship, made it 2-2 in their series, and of course we're about to go to Cleveland and see if the Cavaliers can escape with a win without being swept by the Knicks. I want to let me start though. I want to throw the Spurs under the bus for a minute. In games 2 and 3, which they lost, and Wembanyama did not play as well as in obviously in games 1 and 4. Why is it that he starts so many possessions on the perimeter? He's outside on the perimeter, throwing the ball back and forth between he and Fox. And especially at the end of the quarters, they have this play, or they have this situation where they've got the ball, the clock's running down, they're going to get the last shot, and Fox and Wembanyama are out on the perimeter. Why is he out on the perimeter?
Fox, he made it. He made it last night.
Well, yeah, he made that one. You're right. You're right about that. But he normally.
That's like the second time he's done that, though. He's hit a couple with the clock running down.
But if if Fox is going to shoot the ball, why isn't Wembanyama under the basket to get the rebound? Also, why on free throws, on San Antonio free throws? We know, of course, the free throw shooting team does not get the inside position on the lane. Right. Why don't they have Wembanyama on the lane for San Antonio free throws? They have him outside again. I mean, the guy is 12 feet tall. He can get anything. He can get anything batted up. I don't know why he doesn't stand on the lane for free throws. Do you know why that is?
He could tip them in from there.
Right.
I know. What's that about, Rich?
Well, I would venture to say they're afraid for him to pick up a silly foul by being on the lane. So they take him off. A lot of coaches, college coaches do this a lot. They take guys off the lane, which I think is a huge mistake. I really do, because you have an opportunity to get an offensive rebound. And he is so long. I mean, he's obviously, 7'4", 7'5". He's so long. For him not to be in the paint more often than he is. I mean, yes, he can shoot facing the basket. He's got terrific range. But my goodness, who's going to stop him with his length around the basket? And offensive rebounds, as you just mentioned, when Fox shoots, my Lord, he could definitely get 5 to 6 offensive rebounds a game. And if you look at statistics, you're going to see teams that win are the teams to get the majority of the points inside the lane, not from the perimeter. For yesterday, Oklahoma City, who's defending champions, they shot 6 for 33 from the 3-point line. He shot 18% from the 3-point line. That's why they were never in the game, because they continued to shoot the 3-pointers, and they weren't making them. So they're going to continue to shoot them, and the game was over early. I mean, we didn't know that at the time, but what's the closest they got? I mean, they were down 20 in the second half and never made a run.
Well, in game 3, that looked like it was over too, because San Antonio led 15 zip.
You're right.
Came at home and then let it go. But apparently Greg Popovich had a conversation after game 3 with the Spurs, went in the locker room and just read everybody out. Apparently he reamed the whole team out and said, "This is not how we play. This is not Spurs basketball."
Right.
Apparently had a big effect on the team, as Fox talked about it, and a bunch of the guys talked about it. Said, when Popovich comes in the locker room, it's the first time he's ever done it. So it seemed to be important.
That's good stuff. I love that. I love that the coach, invited him in. A lot of coaches won't do that for they think it's a sign of weakness if they get some advice from somebody else. But to have him come in there, I think is awesome. I think that's terrific. Yeah. And
by the way, Gilgeous-Alexander, Ska, as I call him, SGA, Ska, he just fell down again while we were doing this segment. I'm getting really
he would have been a good
tired
soccer player.
I'm getting really tired of him. He's on the floor half the time. They replay some of these things, and it looks to me like he just gets brushed on a few of these things, and he's down on the floor all the time. I love that. Did you see the San Antonio fan, the girl at courtside, brought a miniature Oscar to present to him as an actor? She held it up when he fell right by her feet at one point.
Well, but Curry, you know why that's happening, because the officials allow it to happen. I mean, when they call fouls like that, he's going to continue to do it. The pushing, and we've talked about this multiple times, the pushing and shoving and holding is incredible. And I know people say, well, if they called every foul, they would call every possession. But you call fouls early, and the players understand where you're coming from. But when you allow it, they're going to continue to grab, hold, smack, and then the guy goes in for a layup. I mean, it's amazing how many fouls they allow to happen and don't call anything, and then some little touch foul and they blow their whistle. It's not basketball anymore. It really isn't.
Of course, the Spurs have the chant going now. All their fans have that chant going, flopper, flopper, flopper on SGA. I don't know if it has an effect on him, but he only had 19 last night. They didn't double team him this time. They played the kid from Connecticut who's still good, guard him, and he did a terrific. He got 19, but he used to get 25 to 30, then they're in trouble. But they switched their whole defensive strategy. So
their bench in the last game, the game before, really hurt them.
Yeah.
So obviously they looked at film and said, look, if he's going to get his 30, he's going to get his 30, but we can't let these other guys get 20 and 15 and so forth. So that's a really good series. It's a really good series. The one with the Knicks, I've gotten the biggest kick out of Coach Atkinson from Cleveland. Some of the things he's said. But first of all, in the first game when they're up by 22 with 8 minutes to go, he's got 4 timeouts. He doesn't use them. What is he waiting for? What does he get bonus money if he keeps them? I mean, what is the deal? How do you not call timeout when they made that run? And then the second game, Mobley has 14 points at halftime. He's probably their second, third best player on the team. 14 points at halftime. In the second half, he doesn't take a shot.
0.
Now, you have 8 assistants on the sidelines. Does anybody say to you, hey, coach, Mobley hasn't taken a shot this half? Maybe during one of the timeouts, you introduced him back to the team, because how does a guy get 14 and a half and doesn't take a shot in the second half? Well, that's bizarre.
And also after that first game, Rich, your boy Atkinson, who is, Long Island boy, Northport, went to St. Anthony's in Huntington, Long Island. So, but he's had a bad series.
Oh, my Lord.
After the first game, he also tried to defend James Harden, who the Knicks targeted time and time again with Brunson, who scored on him anytime he wanted.
Right.
He said James is one of our better defenders. No, he's not. No, he's not. Why would he say something like that? And then
I
he
don't
said,
know.
of course, and then he said, "Well, I was saving my timeout." He reminded me of,
Same.
he reminded me of my own Tar Heel coach. What's his name that succeeded Dean Smith? He used to save timeouts. He used to drive me crazy.
Bill Guthridge?
No,
Roy Williams. Roy Williams.
Would save timeouts like he had them for the summertime, like he was going to use them in the summer. It was unbelievable. It
Doesn't
drive me
make
crazy.
sense. It
And
doesn't make sense at all.
How
He
about
when it went from 22 to 16, or at worst 14, you call a timeout.
he
You
waited
call
till
a
it got?
timeout.
He waited till the league got to 5.
That's
It was 22
ridiculous.
to 5,
That's
and then he
ridiculous.
called timeout. It was too late.
Yeah, way too late. Way too late. What do you? I
Well,
mean, why do you hold? What seriously? Why do you hold on to those timeouts? Because he
how
says,
about
"Well, I'm going to use them at the end of the game." Well, at the end of the game, it's too late now. You're losing.
Game 3 now they're back in Cleveland, and they should make it a series. And they
Yep.
totally came out with no urgency whatsoever.
Nick scored
Travis
37 points in the first quarter.
First quarter.
Travis Kelce's at the game with his girlfriend. They had more energy than the whole Cleveland Cavaliers team. I mean, the Swifties were there. They were making more noise than the
Right.
Cavaliers team.
And they're
then-
watching them.
And the next night, the NBC crew who were doing the San Antonio series said they had Carmelo Anthony said that the Cavaliers played like it wasn't even a playoff game.
Yeah.
And Tracy McGrady really killed him. He said, "Let's go straight to it." He said, "Cavaliers are playing with no heart. They have no heart." And Rich, what about Atkinson after that game? After
what
game
is-
3, the next day, he said, guys, he's talking to the press. Analytically,
Yeah, I know.
we won 2 of the 3 games. 2 of 3, we won the analytics. We won. And then he looked at the press and he said, "You look confused." We look confused. This guy, Atkinson, this guy is talking himself out of a job. I'm telling you, if they get swept, he might get swept right back to
Right.
coaching at Northport High School, be the assistant in Northport.
Curry, what he said, I mean, it's analytically, he's talking about we won. What does that mean? And analytically, you didn't win. Look at the scoreboard. You lost.
Yeah.
You lost. And he said, "Well, you guys want to. You expect us to. I think we're 2 out of 3 is you're expected for us to win." Well, yeah, that's what we expect you to do. You're supposed to win. You're supposed to score more points than the other team, and you didn't do it. And now you're talking about analytically. Well, that's crazy when you think about it. How do you coach that way?
I'm telling you, the coaching job's going to be open if they lose tonight.
No.
I think.
Well, and I mean, can you see them really showing any more heart than they did
No.
last time out? I mean,
Well, hopefully they have some
just
pride.
there.
You would think they have some pride. You would come out and have some pride about as a player who you are, but you never know. Well, time will tell here shortly.
Well, and then you may get the old gentleman sweep where the Knicks, just kind of take their foot off the gas and let them have one at home and then go back in the Garden. But it certainly looks like the Knicks are the team to beat there, and then they'll go up against the varsity, as you call the Curry, the Western Conference champ. We all know that's why Bob really bailed on us. He didn't want to face you, Rich, with your Knicks doing his Cavs.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. We got them. We got them.
The NHL playoffs are getting to the pointy end as well, and the Canes. I think we're all on the Canes, right? We're all rooting for the Canes, our regional team. And Curry, you kind of adopted that team early.
Great win the other night when they tied it. When Montreal tied it up, I thought the Canes were going to lose in overtime, but they got that quick goal to tie up the whole series. It was great. It was terrific. Meanwhile, though, in the other series, Colorado has been the best team in the league all year. They won the
most wins.
They won the most wins, got the most points. And I think they're really missing though the Nathan McKinnon. It's a massive choke job by them, but it's a massive that he can't play. He's hurt, and he's one of the best players on the planet. So without McKinnon, but still. They're down 0-3, and didn't they blow a 3? Didn't they lead 3-0 goals the other night?
Yes, they did. They were up 3 after the first period, or up 3-0. Las Vegas won in the regular season. They won 32 hockey games, and Colorado won 55. So, and Colorado was so hot during the playoffs, and we played so well. Everybody thought, my goodness, they're going to sweep Las Vegas. I
Yeah.
don't think do you think they come back? I don't see it. I really don't see it.
No,
Vegas is
not
hot
on the
right
road.
now.
Yeah, especially in Vegas. They're going to have to play Game 4 on the Knights. I always thought, by the way, just let me get this in. Las Vegas, when they named the team, they named them the Las Vegas Knights,
Right.
like Knights.
Yeah.
I thought they should have
Yeah.
spelled it Knights, just Nights.
Yeah. And they just had like the skyline as
Las
the
Vegas Knights. Yeah. Because
there you go.
that's what you do in Las Vegas.
I like that, Curry. They should have consulted you on that.
Yeah, I think
They
so.
really missed the boat when they didn't consult you on that. So NHL, and let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit of baseball, but we've also got Curry's got some deep topics he wants to get into, starting with your Giants, Bob, or Rich. So we'll see you in a few seconds here on Under the Bus. All right, guys, welcome back on Under the Bus. Justin Jarrett sitting in for Bob Stevens. We got Rich Basirico and Curry Kirkpatrick chopping it up. And I know you want to talk a little bit of baseball, Rich, but Curry wanted to poke a little, do a little poking at your Giants because they had a little dust up this week. They made some headlines in an unusual way during the offseason. Curry, you want to throw them on under the bus?
Well, this is Rich's team, but I'd like to get into it because his boy Bill Parcells used to say famously, "You can be a celebrity quarterback or a quarterback. You can't be either one." And I think this kid Jackson Dart, who they have, is looking to be a celebrity quarterback. I mean, he shows up at the Kentucky Derby, he shows up at these mixed martial arts fights, and now lately he's gone to. He went to a political rally for Representative Lawler on Long Island, and he introduced the president, Donald Trump. Well, this caused a little dust up. Talk about dust up. I mean, Abdul Carter, his terrific teammate who they drafted in the same draft, that said, he came out on X and said, "What we doing, man? What we doing?" Talking about Dart and Trump. Well, this stirred emotions all over the league, apparently, because other people came in and said, "Oh, did the Giants have a locker room problem?" And, of course, then Carter denied it. He said he talked with Dart and everything's okay. But Dart has to figure out what he wants to be, I think. Rich, you had some.
Well, to me, he's definitely a talent because he was hurt part of the season last year, but for me, and all my buddies back home are huge Dart, fans of his. We finally got a quarterback. We haven't had one since Eli. He's too Hollywood for me. He's got the chains around his neck when he's playing. He's got a girlfriend that posts pictures all the time of them together. It's ridiculous all the time. It's like sickening after a while. Like, come on. And now he's getting in politics. Come on, was he 22 years old? How about just be a quarterback of the New York Giants and forget about all the other stuff? Have a girlfriend that's wonderful. Stop posing, having her send pictures to worldwide all over the place so we got to see what she looks like, and just be a football player. I hope he does well because if the Giants will do well if he has a good season. But again, he's too Hollywood for me. I'm not a fan right now. Hopefully, I can eat my words.
He may be wanting to be more Joe Namath than Eli Manning because nobody knew Eli Manning was human until he started doing commercials after he retired with his commercials with his brother. He never said a word. Which is what the Giants want. But here's John Harbaugh comes into the situation. I don't think he's too happy with.
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. And that's where he comes in as a coach. You bring him in your office and say, "Look, this is what we're looking out of you. We're not looking for this other stuff where you're in the in the media all the time because of outside of football stuff. You want to be in the news because of your ability as a football player, not all the other garbage you do. I mean, just when he came out on the field with his chain around his neck. I mean, come on, please play football and forget about all this garbage.
Rich hates chains. Rich hates chains around him.
Yeah, it's giving Johnny Manziel, isn't it? And Johnny Manziel, I don't know if you saw, but Johnny Manziel won an MMA fight this weekend.
Yeah, but then he retired afterward, didn't he? No, seriously, I think he said this is my last
fight. The saddest MMA fight I've ever seen. It was pitiful. The thing about when you have two guys who don't know how to fight and they fight each other, the one who wins looks like he knows how to fight, but he doesn't know how to fight. It was bad. But back to your boy Dart. Maybe the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because he played for Lane Kiffin down in Ole Miss, and Lane doesn't seem to be covering himself in glory right now either.
Well, by the way, this went under the message boards, but Lane Kiffin has just hired back to LSU Coach O, Ed Orgeron, who has followed Kiffin everywhere, by the way. He's been, and I didn't realize this, but he's been with Kiffin everywhere from Southern Cal to Mississippi to, now he's back with him at LSU. And of course, he became a Louisiana legend, winning the national championship with Joe Burrow. But in about 4 years, he went from being a legend to being a reprobate joke because, because he just lost he lost his way. He had problems in his personal life. There were scandals involving women and fans and race, and then like Dart, he came out publicly with an avowed love for Donald Trump. People don't remember this in the first term, and this set his team afire. Because the black players on teams are not exactly Trump fans. And they turned against Coach O when this happened, and he was abruptly dismissed, of course, when LSU stopped winning. But so now, as is its wont, the school has hired back a coach who they previously fired, Orgeron for football, and you look across the street, and there's Will Wade, a coach in the basketball office, one of the great famous cheaters of all time, who they fired
but all that
2
stuff's
years
legal
ago.
now.
They just fired him 2 years ago. So, what are they going to next? They're going to hire back Livy Dunn from her commercials to coach Jim.
Aren't they still on probation from his last term there? I mean, goodness.
I guess so. It's amazing.
I think we've thrown all the rules out the window at this point. That's the nature of college sports at the highest level now. It's a business, plain and simple. And you got to win games. You got to go to that playoff. You got to win national championships. You got to get us more money for the NIL coffers and all that stuff. So I don't think they care anymore about any of that.
Some of these athletes, though, need to be more subtle about their support for Trump.
Yes.
Brady was a big Trump guy, but he kept it really quiet, apparently. And the owner, of course, the owners are big Trump. I mean, the Jets owner. Wasn't he? He was Secretary of the Court of St. James, wasn't he, in Trump's first term?
Yeah, he was some sort of ambassador to something.
Ambassador to England, yes. So if the owner can do it, I guess Jackson Dart says, "Well, I can support Trump." So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Why is he introducing Trump anyway? Why is Dart introducing Trump?
He was at the rally was for Lawler, actually representing, right. And apparently Lawler called him. Obviously the Lawler people called Dart up to come out, and then they had him introduce Trump. So I don't know if it's a deal or something. Yeah, it's doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
What a time to be alive. Rich, you wanted to throw the Mets under the bus. Obviously, your Yankees are cooking right now.
Well, I would say they're cooking. I mean, they won 2 games in a row. Walk-offs. Well, today wasn't a walk-off because Kansas City had to get up, but yesterday was. But I do have to bring the Yankees up, Aaron Boone up again. Please don't get upset with this. But again, in the bullpen, the other day against Tampa Bay, they brought in Cruz. Now their bullpen's been up and down. He comes in, faces 2 batters, throws 8 pitches, strikes out the 2 batters, 8 pitches. So do you think they bring him in the next inning? Of course not. He's only threw 8 pitches. He hadn't pitched in 4 days. 8 pitches. But you know why? Because there was a lefty coming up. And God forbid a right-handed pitcher in the Yankees bullpen pitches to a lefty. So they bring a lefty in, Hill, and guess what he does? Gets no outs, gives up 3 hits, and 4 runs. 3 were earned, 3 runs, and of course they lose. When you see somebody pitching well, why can you not keep them in there? Well, I don't understand. You see him. You see that he's pitching well.
And the crazy part to me is like that the going to the lefty thing used to make more sense, but with the 3 batter minimum, it makes no sense.
Right.
Because if you put him in just to face 1 lefty and he doesn't get him, now you're stuck with him to face 2 righties.
Correct.
And you got a left-hander throwing loopy stuff up there to right-handers, he's going to get hammered.
Yeah.
So you got to stop playing that game. And
he plays it all. He did it today. He did it tonight. He had a guy go in there and pitch well, took him out. There was a lefty coming up.
Yeah, they need to only do it with 2 outs, I think, so that, but I guess you still got
the Mets have the highest, they have the highest payroll in Major League Baseball, and probably the 2nd worst record in Major League Baseball. They had a walk-off last night. There was 0-0 against Miami. They hit a grand slam. A guy I think it was his 2nd home run. He was batting 193. They've scored 2 runs and 11 hits, 2 runs, 11 hits in the last 3 games. And they have scored 2 or fewer runs in the last 4 straight games. Now, this is a team that has spent the most money on free agency. They made some trades, and they've won 22 games. 22. Their payroll is listen to this. Their payroll is $352 million. Tampa Bay's payroll is $89 million, and they've won 34 games so far. So when guys go out and buy all these players, doesn't mean they're going to win. And the Mets are a poor example of spending all that money and playing poorly. So they're a team under the bus for baseball right now.
Relegation. That's why we probably have to give the Dodgers a little credit, right? But go ahead, Kirk. Relegate them? Yeah.
No, relegation is the word that's what should come in baseball meetings next year. Get these things out.
If we relegated 3 teams this year, though, the Mets would still stay. We would lose Colorado, Detroit, and the Angels as of right now.
Yeah. Well, the Angels are really bad.
I expect Detroit to pull out of that tailspin.
Are the Mets better than those 3 teams?
You would
think tied with the Royals for the 4th worst record in baseball.
And the Royals shouldn't be that bad. The Royals should not. They have some good talent here. I don't know why they're playing so poorly.
I think they may be mismanaged. The managers picking fights with Salvi on Salvi's, chirping back on social media. Salvi's like a legend in that franchise. And he said in the press conference that he was out of the lineup because he needed a break. He needed a rest. And Salvi tweeted, "I don't need a rest. I'm good." So, when you got your franchise, face of the franchise, and your manager are passive aggressively getting at each other in the media, that's not great. So I think that's what's going on with the Royals. He may not make it out of this year. Any other baseball teams to throw under the bus? I'll throw my Cubbies under there.
Yeah, they lost again today.
What's happened to them?
Majenski bedazzled them today. Hilton Head Island's own. I don't know, man. They can't hit right now to save their lives. They're gonna have to figure something out. I heard. I don't remember which analyst it was, but he was right. He said there's a lot of swing and miss in that lineup, and so when they all get going, when they get going at one time, they're dangerous. But when they're all off at one time, it's really tough to score runs with as much as they strike out. So they're just not manufacturing runs, and they're not hitting home runs right now. They had a solo shot only today. Carmen Majenski, our hometown boy, shut them down for the Pirates. But
during which
they're only 3.5 games out of first, so it's not over.
During which this slump, Crow Armstrong got in trouble for throwing a slur at some female fan
Yeah.
that was
Yeah. So
following at him, and he went after her. And
you're right. Yeah. So I
had to
heard about
apologize.
this. I didn't see it, but I heard he was being heckled, and he hit her with a S my DB.
Yeah.
And that's
Had to
not
apologize.
great. Not great. That's not, but don't heckle the players, y'all. But also players don't
Had to apologize.
say these things. Yeah. Youth, what are you gonna do? These young kids. Any other baseball squads? Are we good on that? All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and hit up some odds and ends. Golf, tennis, a little track and field right here on Under the Bus. Welcome back to Under the Bus, final segment with the greats, Rich Basirico and Kirkpatrick, and we still got a few folks to hit up. We hit the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, time to and some NFL in there as well. So time to get down to the nitty gritty. And Curry, you said you had a couple of items from the.
Well, I got some losers and winners. I think we should point out that the Indianapolis 500 was the closest race in history. Yesterday, the guy won by 0.2 seconds, not 2 seconds, 0.2 seconds.
0.2 of a second.
The race cars.
Yeah. And the race car, and the guy that lost, I wish I had his name. The guy that lost also lost last year. Came in second last year. So he came in second by 0.2 seconds this year. He said, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to win this thing? He said second last year, second this year by 0.2. So our condolences.
0.2.
I want to point to a winner though that I'm throwing under, and this goes to the golf tournament last week at the newly renovated, that's in quotes, the newly rented Clark Ranch in Dallas, where they played that tournament. It seemed like a mini pop-up course at South Fork Ranch, not Clark Ranch. I mean, guys are shooting 63, 62, 61. It's unbelievable. Wyndham Clark won the thing by shooting 60 on the last day to beat Woo Kim by 3 and Scheffler by 5. I mean, look, when you're that close to a 59, here's my under the bus. When you're that close to a 59, you got to go for it. You can't settle for 60. I mean, that's bull. Woo Kim on the first day shot 60. He was on pace for 59. All he had to do was par the last hole for 59.
Wow.
And he hit a bad drive, and then he overcooked his approach shot, and he came with a bogey, so he shot just a 60, another settling for a 60. I mean, come on. I don't know if you remember, this guy, Wyndham Clark, won the Open a few years ago, and ever since then, he's been he's proceeded to trash majors. He smashed in a locker at Oakmont a few years ago at the U.S. Open, and Oakmont I don't think will have him back. Apparently, there's something he had to apologize on. Then at the PGA, he flung his driver and broke the T-Mobile sponsor sign at Quail Hollow. This is the same guy. I just have, I wonder if he had not shot 60 yesterday, if he'd only shot 64 and lost, what would he have done with his driver? I mean, he had to shoot 60 not to throw another fling. I don't know. You beware of at Clark Ranch Properties. They might need more renovation if that had happened.
All right. And how about your tennis note?
Oh, well, meanwhile in Paris, America's best player, Taylor Fritz, lost for the second year in a row in the first round. And, he's not let's face it, he's not a clay court player. He's been hurt with tendonitis in his knee. He's only played 2 matches in the last 2 months, really. But he lost to a guy ranked number 148 in the world.
Wow.
Mishkesh Basaverdi, I'll call him Alphabet, who's a American Indian kid out of Carmel, Indiana, by way of Stanford University and Melore, India. Again, Fritz is not a clay court player, but I don't know if he's rehabbing too much on his knee, but this showed some terrible rust. And even Fritz admitted he got cooked by Alphabet's shots, drop shots. All the guy would do was drop shot the whole. You would think. I mean, Fritz is one of the great athletes on the tour, and this kid, as he said, he got cooked by this guy. He outplayed Fritz in the first two. He won the first two tie breaks. Then Fritz won a really long tie break in the third, 8-7. And, as a fan, you thought, well, he's going to, the other kid's going to fold now. But he broke Fritz in the second game of the fourth and won 6-1 in the fourth.
Wow.
I mean, he just Basaveretti is, I'm trying to pronounce it right. He won the Savannah Classic, whatever that is, to qualify for the main draw in Paris.
The Savannah Classic?
Yeah, it's a challenger. It's a challenger match, and he won that to qualify or to get into the French Open main draw.
Wow.
His family immigrated to California and then to Indiana, and he had a great Basaveretti had a great 2 years at Stanford. I mean, he was All-American, and so I don't know if this is much of a surprise. He's only 21 years old, but what this says about Fritz now. Fritz has to wait until the grass court season. And remember, he was a finalist at Wimbledon last year. I mean, Fritz is like number 7 in the world, something like that. So it's
number 9, it looks like.
Okay.
That's crazy.
And so I don't know if the other Americans, Ben Shelton won an event on clay last month in Munich. So maybe he's going to make some noise, but our other Americans, they treat clay like it's soup. They have no idea how to play on it. So,
clay is lava. Shelton's up to number 5 in the world, by the way.
Oh, is he? Okay, well,
he's our best hope, I suppose.
There you go.
But American men's tennis, not exactly in its glory days right now. It's fallen off pretty far from the golden years. I mean, we had a couple of decades there with Connors and McEnroe, and then into the Agassi and Sampras era where we had some really high level players, but just
Michael Chang at 18 won the French Open. Proving Americans can play on clay if they practice enough. And Chang is now coaching. Chang is now the coach of another young American named Thiem, who's doing really well. So, maybe he'll do something this week in Paris.
Lerner Thiem, up to 18 in the world.
Yeah. And he's coached by Michael Chang.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Curry, it's interesting you say about if they practice on clay. They don't practice that often. I mean, come on. They know they're going to play on clay. They don't spend hours and hours practicing on it.
Well, there's several. They play the hard court season in America runs right up to the clay court season in Europe, and the two big events are in America in the winter are in Miami and Palm Springs. So those are big events. So they don't have that time to practice. Now they go to Europe, and they have there's a few events before Rome and Paris, but not many of our Americans play in those events. So I don't know what they think it's going to happen when they come into the big ones. They're going to get. It
seems like you would want to go over there and play for like a month.
Yeah.
And run up to it, build up to it, but
because they get their heads handed to them by all these European these they used to call them runaround guys that just practice on clay.
Pushers.
They play their whole life. They grew up on clay and they know how to play it. And they run rings around our American.
How about that? All right. Well, I got a track and field note here for you. I don't know if you guys saw this, but North Carolina high school state championships, Mallard Creek is like a powerhouse, I guess. They were going to win another team state championship.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
They were going to win another team state championship if they won this relay, which it appeared they did. But that gesture, just putting his hand up there.
What did he put his hand up? That's all he did.
That was called taunting. And
You're kidding.
The relay team was disqualified.
Oh my God.
And it cost the team the state championship. It's crazy. The officials say that he was warned, that this particular athlete was warned after a previous race.
But who's he taunting? I mean, who's he? Seriously, he's putting up like
he just put his hand up like this.
How is that? Who's he taunting? If he turned around and faced the other runners behind him, that's taunting. But he's in front of everybody. Who's he taunting? The crowd? I mean, I'm
with you. I think this is a classic example of a power tripping official. Making it about them, and it's just awful. I hate it.
Just think of all the Olympic races as guys and women, men and women cross the finish line. Their arms are up, saluting everybody they can. It's unbelievable. I mean, come on.
Right.
Well, and the argument, the counter argument to that is, well, yeah, there's no rule against it in the Olympics, and in North Carolina high school track and field, there is a rule against taunting. But to me, that's not. I mean, there's just no way that can be construed as taunting.
No,
it was going to be their 5th straight state championship, by the way. So he was holding up 5.
Right.
What's the name of this high school?
Mallard Creek in Charlotte area.
Mallard Creek, like a duck, Mallard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, Mallard Creek.
But if he turned around and was and waving the guys on, that's a different story. But when you're ahead of everybody and put your hand up, how is that taunting anybody?
Justin, he did it as he's crossing the line.
Well, I know. How do you take that away from the kid? That's like you said, Justin. That's the power of officials. Think there. Look at me. Look what I did. That's embarrassing.
By the way, Justin, do you know that there's no rule against taunting in the Olympics? Do we know that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but that's what people. That was their response to that was, well, yeah, it's not against the rules.
I see.
It's in the rule book here. So I don't know, but yeah, because people were like, did you guys not see Usain Bolt?
Usain Bolt, and there's a lot those sprinters taunt each other all the time.
Well, I saw somebody say that he wasn't putting up a 5; he was putting up a rear view mirror, looking at him. That's a stretch.
That's great. I love that one.
That's a stretch. But
that is
regardless.
A stretch.
He smoked them. Give him the gold medal. Besides, it's not an individual event. Don't disqualify those other 3 kids.
That's right. That's
that's outrageous. Just outrageous. It makes me so mad.
High school kids being taken away from them is embarrassing. The officials should be ones that should be fired, let go, whatever.
Under the bus.
Under the bus. Number 1. They're number 1 under the bus.
Hey, number 1. You got any folks that we need to deal with?
I have. We're going to go back to Will Wade, the basketball coach at LSU. He's now he's signed R.J. Lewis, who played at St. John's, who graduated, and I don't know if he graduated, but got picked up by NBA. He wasn't drafted, but he did get picked up by the Jazz, and the Jazz traded him to the Celtics. He's bringing him in. He's got a 25-year-old and a 26-year-old international players coming that have already been drafted. They've been drafted, and they're coming in. And that's his way of doing it. Todd Golden, the coach of Florida, came out and said, "This is what college basketball is not supposed to be. Us going out and recruiting people who are been drafted in the NBA." And I agree with him. So Will Wade under the bus.
How old
is NCAA under the bus? They need to fix this.
R.J. Lewis is about 28, isn't he, Rich?
He's up there. I don't know if he's 28, but he's up there for sure.
Well, there was a guy that came back from the NBA and played for somebody.
Alabama played for Alabama.
Yeah. Like how did the NCAA not fix it after that?
Who knows?
How did they still leave that loophole in place?
I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
I mean, I know they're not amateurs anymore by any stretch of the imagination, but there still has to be some kind of a distinction.
Well, the NCAA's got to do something quick, like right away.
That's crazy. And man, let me tell you, it's hard for a kid out here to get recruited to a Power 4 school in any sport out of high school right now.
Well, they're not
Because
looking at them.
why,
Look at all,
why bother? Why
right?
bother with 18-year-olds when they can bring in all the free agents they want who are
Right.
fully developed? Like it's crazy out there right now. Crazy. All right, Kurt, you got anybody else?
No, that's about all. I think Rich has covered Will Wade.
All right. Well,
we can't go any lower than that.
Curry,
No,
what kind of fan are you about Will Wade? Is he not the?
No, I said he's the bottom. He's the
Okay.
bottom. I said he's one of the chief cheaters of all time.
Yeah.
And he's bending these rules. He's going right after the rules, showing how far he can go, trying to see how far he can go. And it's just he's low, low rent.
He
you know
is.
what? I do have one more to end us on, and it dovetails well with that as far as pushing the envelope. I hear that now, with the exception of the SEC commissioner, all other major college conference commissioners are pushing for a 24-team football playoff, which is incredible. Can you imagine, Michigan goes 7-5 and they're ready to pack it in and they get the 23 seed or something? Like, what are we doing here? This is crazy.
It's out of control. That's being out of control too. And of course, it always comes down to one thing, right? Money. It's all about money. 24 teams is way too many. 24. As Curry's friend Tony Kornheiser always says, the answer to all your questions is money. And, you can throw all the money grubbers under the bus. So thanks, fellas. It's been fun tonight. Sitting in for Bob Stevens. We didn't even properly throw him under the bus for missing this one, but we'll look forward to having him back. He's definitely better at the helm than I am, but I like sitting in the background. But it's always fun to talk with you guys, Rich Basirico and Curry Kirkpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Thanks, everybody. Thank you.